For the next topic, I'd like to go a little bit more in depth on email headers and footprinting using email. Now, email footprinting basically doesn't involve anything like reading other people's email or sending messages to the SMTP server. That comes a little bit later. Remember, we're talking footprinting, typically passive, mostly non-invasive. So footprinting with email basically involves viewing the header information that you might get in an email you've received to determine information about the email as it's traveled from the sender to the receiver over the internet and through various servers. Now, this header information that you can look at in an email can tell you actually a lot of information about the organization. It can tell you IP addresses, server names, banners that can help you determine what kind of operating system is running on the email server or what email application is running. You can also get username format for the internal network in some cases. You can even get usernames because frequently someone's email address is their username, and that would help you determine what kind of username structure they have on their internal network. You also might get other information about the email infrastructure at an organization or even the entire network. Now, most email clients that you would use, including Outlook, Thunderbird, Eudora, even web-based email, can give you header information. And what we're actually going to do here in a moment is look at header information that came through Gmail, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to show you a slightly edited email header and point out some of the things that you can get from email footprinting. Let's go ahead and take a look at that now. Okay, we're looking at an email header, and what I've done is I've printed this out and put it into a PDF for you. And I have to confess up front, I have edited this information a little bit because I didn't want to put anyone's email address or IP addresses out there for the public to see. So I've slightly edited this. So that's my full disclosure here, but pretty much I've left most of it intact. This is an email that came to one of my Gmail accounts, my vtc.author account. That's my actual email address. So if you care to email me about the course, feel free to, or go through the VTC website to do so. But what we're looking at is information about this email, metadata if you will, and how it was sent and where it went through, and a little bit of information about the sender, because this will give us information about the sender's infrastructure. Now, I actually have a made-up person that sent this email, and I have replaced the actual email servers with just generic names here, as well as the IP addresses. Keep in mind, these are not the actual IP addresses from the email. I have altered those. So again, full disclosure on that to protect the innocent, change the names of the guilty, and so forth, if you will. Okay, one of the things we see is the IP address of the receiver, and that might be of interest to us, but what we're really after is the path the email took. And you can look through here and see that it was received from mail.server1, mail.server1.somewhere.org, okay? And that's the mail server's name and its IP address. And it was received at this IP address on this date for vtc.author@gmail.com on this date and time. And a little bit of information here. You see the IP address of the organization, the sender, if you will. So that tells you a little bit about them. Their mail naming structure, mail.server1.somewhere.org. That's their fully qualified DNS name. And let's see if we can pull this down a little bit. And one thing you'll see of note is this mail server is using Axway Mailgate 5.1.0, and we also know that it's using Novell GroupWise. So now we know a little bit about what the mail server is running. Novell GroupWise using this Axway Mailgate server, if you will. And this comes from Jane Doe, and obviously I've changed the name there, someone@somewhere.org for me. And basically, you've gotten some information now about the IP address of the sender, their mail server, and what they're running on the email gateway. So that's a little bit of information you can use to help fingerprint the organization. So now that we know that they're using a Novell gateway, we can actually look for vulnerabilities that might affect that particular type of email gateway. The Novell GroupWise Internet Agent and the Axway Mailgate. So we've gotten a little bit of information about this individual from the email headers themselves. So that's all email footprinting really is. And depending upon what kind of email service they're running, and also depending upon what kind of client you're using, you may be able to get other different information as well from the email headers. You also may get information about the route it took through the internet. So that could be helpful to you. So it's just a little bit of information that's out there in the email header for you.